Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Well, it seems as if the hits just keep on coming and Bungie is now worth $560 million less in Sony's books. This is after the last impairment loss of $200 million, bringing Bungie's total book value to an estimated $2.8 billion, which isn't anything to sneeze at. But it definitely isn't the $3.6 billion at the purchase time. And it points to a clear case of buyer's remorse and Sony facing the harsh truth that live service games aren't easy, or in their case, cheap. By now, everyone is well aware of Sony's May earnings call, where they discussed the profit and loss for 2025 fiscal year, which ended in March. Everyone also knows that Bungie has failed to meet expectations, with both Marathon and Destiny 2 underperforming. As a result, more impairment losses were implemented. Now, I've seen a lot of people try to explain what impairment loss means, and for those that are still a little confused by it, let me put it this way. So let's say you buy a hot dog stand at a resort where it earns $1,000 per summer season. So you originally pay $5,000 for it, and it's now worth $4,000 on your books due to depreciation. Now, for whatever reason, the city builds a road, or maybe the resort moves, and now instead of $1,000 a summer, you're making $200. Even worse, if you try to sell the hot dog stand, you'd only get $1,500 now because of the crappy location. So in accounting terms, your hot dog stand is impaired. Its ability to generate future revenue has declined, and you can no longer justify keeping it on your books at $4,000. So you record an impairment loss of $2,500. This is basically admitting that the hot dog stand wasn't worth what you thought it was, and you need to show its actual value. There's literally been tons of speculation on what all of that means for Bungie and what it means for Destiny 2 going forward. And while I would love to say that this is the end, as long as Sony has them valued at $2.8 billion in their books, I don't think it's over yet. Though Sony is downwardly revising Bungie's business plan, which probably means less budget and fewer resources, which in turn means that Marathon will pull even more resources away from Destiny 2, as Sony focuses on the core of its players in whatever radical direction they're about to implement. Now, I don't think it's any coincidence that Bungie delayed the new update and went radio silent until, how do they put it, later in May, when they were closer to the June release. You know, later in May as in maybe after the earnings call? Question mark? It is entirely possible, probable, that projections from March came in and they were advised to put everything on hold until that earnings call could happen. I'm not saying that's the case, but it would be the smart thing to do. After all, if the report was bad enough, there wouldn't need to be an update in June, and everyone's greatest fear would be realized. It's also why they wouldn't just come right out and say Destiny 2 was dead. Until all of the cards were on the table, a decision like that was still very much up in the air. This whole situation is probably the worst possible outcome for the long-term future of Destiny 2. Any hope that it has of surviving will now greatly depend on what Bungie can do and what Sony will allow them to do going forward with whatever resources is available. I also want to point out that while this definitely doesn't bode well for Destiny 3, it doesn't mean that it's entirely off of the table. A new game could very well be the answer, but it would also be years down the line. So now, thanks to all of this, Destiny 2 has an even steeper hill to climb. So as far as I'm concerned, there is only one clear path forward that Destiny 2 could take that could bring the players back. And make no mistake, many of them will not come back. So my solution, the way I see it, is that they need to undo all of the bullshit changes from Edge of Fate. Remove all the tiered weapons and armor changes, or revert them. I know that's going to upset everyone, but let's face it, the tiered weapons and the armor changes, they looked good on paper and they worked okay at first, but then everything just kind of escalated out of control. And I really see the tiered weapons and the armor changes as being more problematic than they're worth. They're just another extension of the grind factor. Another thing that they need to do is release all past seasonal content. Everything. put everything in the game so that it's there. If it's relevant, it needs to be in the game. They need to put all of the strikes back. We need all of the regular strikes, the heroic strikes. We need the Nightfall, the Grandmaster Nightfall. Everything needs to be put back to the way it was. All PvP modes, all ornaments need to be on some faster, better rotation. Just open all of that stuff up. Give us something to look forward to every week at Reset. They need to make Pantheon, Into the Light, and all of these other events permanent game additions like Dares of Eternity, and they need to whip up about 36 new weapons and exotics that we can chase for however long we're going to need to be in Destiny 2. And of course, I absolutely insist that the portal be destroyed publicly. Now again, I am speaking entirely for myself here. I uninstalled Destiny 2 a while ago, and my last Destiny 2 stream, I didn't even stream on YouTube. I did record it for posterity, and that's probably the footage that you've been looking at for this video. But this is the only thing that will bring me back. However, I can't speak for everyone else. Of course, this is, in fact, if Destiny 2 is over and they haven't figured out some way to extend its life by giving us some mediocre expansion, which that's also still a very real possibility, in which case they try to drip feed us more content for the duration, which, yeah, let's be real, that's never going to work. Now, we won't know whether or not Destiny 2 is going to be put on life support or if it's going to continue or what's going to happen. But we should be hearing about it any day now that the earnings call is over and Sony is clenching its fist around everyone's throats. As for Marathon, well, you know, if they ever wanted me to step back into it, aside from the server slam that one time, then they would need to do a lot more than appeal to the hardcore players. I would need a dedicated story mode and or some Destiny Light content. Of course, if they were to go that route, then they wouldn't need Destiny 2 anymore. I am honestly very curious about where Sony and in particular Bungie are going to be going next and what that means for the future of Destiny 2. While I'm certainly not playing it, I still feel like I have a bit of an interest in where it's headed and if that direction leads to a Destiny 3 or something else. But now, guys, I want to do that thing where I turn it over to you and get your thoughts and opinions on all of this. What would it take to bring you back to Destiny 2, or at the very least, keep it going until D3, or maybe Destiny Classic comes along? Head down to the comments, guys, and let's get some conversation going. That's it. That's all I've got for this video. If you liked it and you want to see more, or you want to watch me do some live streams as a Catgirl Vtuber playing Arknights, Infield, Overwatch, or some other game, then be sure to smash the like button and consider subscribing. If you'd like to help the channel out directly, you can do so by becoming a channel member, or you can head over to the Patreon, or if you don't want to do that, you can just buy me a coffee. Every little bit helps keep the lights going and keep the internet up. Until next time, guys, have an amazing day, keep being awesome, and I will see you all in the next video. Where's he at? I missed that. What, did he bail? Oh no, there he is. I should do the Grandmaster. I only run Grandmaster with my friends. I'm too much of a coward to try it solo. And the only reason I run it with my friends is because at least when they tell me I'm a loser, it doesn't hurt as bad. Because we all lose. We lose equally is what I'm saying.